Hi everyone, it's Sean again, and this is a video I'm going to talk to Daniel J. Towsey. This is basically about him. He was talking about all the problems that he had collecting social services in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Well, it's been well known many years that if you're out of province, it's pretty difficult to collect any form of assistance in Nova Scotia and even in the province of New Brunswick. You can be from Vancouver, Calgary, Ottawa, Montreal, Toronto, and unless you have a birth certificate in Nova Scotia they were born in Nova Scotia, or if you have a birth certificate saying you're born in New Brunswick, they will do everything to deny you social assistance if you're from out of province. This has been well known for 20-30 years that they will do everything in their power if you're from out of province not to give you a check in Halifax, because they don't want people from across Canada coming into Halifax from, say, Ottawa, Toronto, Winnipeg to collect a check. It's been well known a lot of guys do not make that trip. You heard of guys in the past say, I'm going from Toronto to Vancouver to Calgary. I've heard that in the past. Ottawa, maybe even Montreal. But very seldom in the years gone by have you heard anybody ever say that they're going down to Halifax or Moncton, New Brunswick from Toronto, Vancouver, Calgary to collect a check, because Nova Scotia and New Brunswick Social Services will do everything in their power for out of province people, and they do not want anybody from out of province collecting welfare in Halifax, in the province of Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. Unless you have a birth certificate from those particular provinces, you have a chance. I was very shocked to see that Daniel J. Towsey, who was born in Quebec, and he was able to get social assistance in Nova Scotia, Halifax. That's one of the most difficult, daunting tasks. No wonder he had all those problems down there, because they really didn't want to give him any social services because he was from the province of Quebec. And that's the reason why it's been well known and well written that they do not want anybody from, even a person from New Brunswick would have difficulty from Moncton collecting a welfare check in Halifax, Nova Scotia. They do not want out of province. Apparently they don't want to go over budget, and I guess they have so much budget in the social services ministry that they refuse people to come in from other provinces to collect social services. It's been well known. Now, the other thing about Daniel J. Towsey when he left, and it doesn't surprise me that he had problems with Halifax Social Services. If he had had a Nova Scotia birth certificate, if he had even a family member wouldn't guarantee him. It was probably his worst destination to go to. The only thing worse than going to Halifax would have been going to Moncton, New Brunswick to collect social services. So I'm not surprised at what happened. And then to try to get disability out of the province, even a daunting task. Now, the other thing I have to say about Daniel J. Towsey, apparently in his last video he said that he had no money to leave for, he was broke, destitute, whatever, leaving Halifax. But I have to wonder, to go from Halifax to Vancouver, which was his destination, he would have needed at least $1,200 Canadian to make that trip. Surely he didn't go without any money. He must have had money to go to that destination. I mean, if you're going to leave for Halifax to Vancouver, if you're going by car, you need $1,200 Canadian in cash. If you're taking the bus, I would believe you would need at least $1,500 in cash. So I don't understand how he was destitute, broke, and how he made that trip. But I think what he did going back to his home province of Quebec, since he has a Quebec birth certificate, was a wise idea. Back in the day, though, he probably, not so much today, but back in the day he would have got social services probably in Vancouver, but I believe they're cutting back in the last few years. Probably the same with Calgary. So I don't understand that, because they're kind of isolated from Quebec, and I think once they seen the Quebec birth certificate, they wanted nothing to do with them. But the days of going and collecting social services from another province in BC I think, is over with. So you better have some cash if you're going out there. You don't want to live on the streets in Vancouver. That'd be ridiculous. So I wish him the well in his endeavors, and he's back in his home province, which is the best thing that happened to him, and that's all I have to say. So Daniel, don't make these trips and try to collect social services in places like Winnipeg, Manitoba, Moncton, New Brunswick, even Calgary. I just think that's foolish. You should go back to your home province of Quebec and try to get your disability check there. I think this would be your best option, and it would work out for you. It would be the best option. I think you made a real bad decision going to Halifax with a Quebec birth certificate and trying to collect disability. If I had met you before you went to Halifax, I would have told you to not go. Thanks. This is Sean on February 12th.